get their news from.
Associated Press has Oregon's best newscast. News Channel 8, where the news comes first.
Counting down to the millennium, increasing security in the wake of terror concerns, especially in New York City.
We're going to have 19,000 police officers out. Well, I think we've planned for every contingency.
Also a concern preventing Y2K computer glitches. The Russian offensive in Chechnya, civilians in harm's way as the rebels hide among them.
Chechen fighters which are in Grozny will have nowhere to retreat.
The continuing standoff aboard an Indian Airlines jet hijacked on Friday. And the last full day in space for 7 sent to save the Hubble telescope.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News, reported by John Siegenthaler.
Good evening, everyone. We begin tonight with the countdown to the new millennium, now just 6 days away. The concern, not just a computer glitch, but terrorism. In the past week, the government has urged Americans planning to attend large New Year's events to be extra careful. Now details are emerging about how law enforcement agencies are stepping up security at the biggest events. NBC's Campbell Brown reports.
New York's Times Square, Washington, D.C.'s Lincoln Memorial, and Seattle's Space Needle, each to be the site of huge millennium celebrations, each taking extraordinary security measures. In New York, a mile-long, 3-block-wide area around Times Square will be closed to traffic. All parked cars will be towed, all manhole covers sealed. And inside, what they're calling the Times Square frozen zone for the millennium, more than 7,000 officers on patrol.
We have no specific information that anything is going to happen. We've been preparing for this for 3 years.
In Seattle, the city plans to erect a fence around the base of the Space Needle. The estimated 60,000 people expected here on New Year's Eve will have to pass through a security checkpoint. The celebration on the Mall in the nation's capital, expected to draw 500,000 people, will be patrolled by more than 3,500 local police, plus federal law enforcement officers and the National Guard. While authorities maintain there have been no specific threats against U.S. targets, the manhunt is still on tonight for an associate of Ahmed Rassam, the man arrested at the Canadian border earlier this month. In his car, explosives and sophisticated timers. Rassam was captured aboard a ferry, apparently on his way to Seattle. Abdelmajid Dahouman is believed to have been traveling with him but managed to escape. This weekend, the FBI interviewed Horizon Air ticket agents at the Bellingham Airport, 90 miles north of Seattle. Investigators have reportedly been told by one of the agents that a ticket was sold to someone who fit Dahouman's description. Rassam, now being held at this facility in Seattle, is said to have ties to Islamic militants in Algeria. Security remains especially tight at border crossings, and today at airports around the country, police were patrolling with bomb-sniffing dogs, searching bags and packages. Terrorism experts are urging the public to take these threats seriously, but not to panic.
You don't want to turn this country into a group of paranoids in which everybody's suspicious of one another all the time. It's a tough line to walk.
Local and federal law enforcement officers preparing to prevent the worst and hoping for the best. Campbell Brown, NBC News, Washington.
Now to the Y2K computer concerns and the fear that older computers programmed to read just the last 2 digits of a year will read 00 as 1900 and stop working. Billions of dollars have been spent to correct the problem. The man leading that effort in this country is John Koskinen, the chairman of the President's Council on Y2K Conversion. Mr. Koskinen, good evening.
Good evening.
Do you see any problems on the horizon, computer problems, that could cause major impact on America?
We do not. We think that the basic national infrastructure is going to function effectively as we move into the next century. We are continuing to be focused on potential local problems, but they will be confined to a handful of local areas. They won't be regional and they won't be national.
Where will you be for the new year, and how good a handle will you have on any potential problems?
Well, we've created an information coordination center a block and a half from the White House, which will collect information from around the world, around the entire economy, from state and local government and the federal governments, and we'll spend the entire weekend there on a round-the-clock basis, and I think we'll have a very good handle on what's happening not only here but around the world.
So to go through the laundry list, power plants, air traffic control, prisons, banking, the military, you say they're all Y2K compliant?
They're all Y2K compliant, but we keep reminding everybody there are going to be glitches places, just as there are glitches every day. But we think that in terms of any significant disruptions, we don't see any evidence that we'll see any of those.
Mr. Koskinen, this country may be ready, but there are concerns about other countries. Tell us what you know.
Well, we are concerned and have been for some time about developing countries. The developed countries we trade primarily with are in very good shape. But some countries with enough information technology to make a difference to them, like Russia and China, Indonesia and other countries, started late, had major challenges, and it's unclear whether they're going to have been able to get all of that work done before the end of the year.
Do you have any recommendations for Americans on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day?
We don't think there's any reason to disrupt your normal pattern of living. You ought to celebrate the millennium. We've encouraged people to be prepared for a long 3-day midwinter weekend and have flashlights and batteries and food and water for the weekend. Not so much only for Y2K, but if you end up in a snowstorm or a blizzard someplace, you'll be better off.
White House Y2K advisor John Koskinen, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Now to the war in Chechnya. For yet another day, the Russian army bombed and shelled Grozny, the capital of the breakaway republic, as rebels fight to hold their ground. NBC's Dana Lewis has the story.
No pinpoint strikes, no surgical operation. The Russian army, a blunt instrument, destroying an entire city. Grozny pounded relentlessly from all sides. This neighborhood could be seen under almost steady bombardment. This latest assault began Christmas morning. Very early, we came up very quietly. The rebels didn't hear us at first, says this soldier. Part of the city is on fire, smoke rising from many neighborhoods. The fighting described as intense even in the city's central square. A methodical advance by the army, but not a storm, to avoid heavy losses.
They're cutting away small parts of the city, kind of cleansing those parts of fighters, and they are going for another small street, another small square.
Spearheading the assault, Chechen paramilitaries loyal to Moscow. Their commander, a former mayor of Grozny, jailed for embezzlement, but released to help fight the rebels.
In the next few days, we'll control the entire city of Grozny.
Many of the rebels have survived heavy bombing, 50 airstrikes in the last 24 hours, by hiding in bunkers and basements. They've mined and booby-trapped buildings and roads. Trapped, as many as 50,000 residents also forced underground with no way to escape. Today, desperation. Tomorrow, uncertainty as Russian leaders talk of the destruction of Grozny and moving the capital of Chechnya elsewhere. Seizing Grozny would give Russia's prime minister a symbol of victory, but the war could go on for months or even years.
It's a low-intensity war, so we can expect another wave of terrorism.
And that's just what the Russian government claimed the war would eliminate, terrorism. Grozny could be won and destroyed at the same time. Tens of thousands of refugees may have no home to go back to. Dana Lewis, NBC News, Moscow.
Singer and songwriting legend Curtis Mayfield died today in a suburban Atlanta hospital. He was 57. No cause of death was disclosed. Mayfield and his group, The Impressions, raised social consciousness with their music during the turbulent 60s. Paralyzed in an accident in 1990, Curtis Mayfield continued to make music. He was honored at the Grammy Awards 5 years ago, but this year, when he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Curtis Mayfield was too ill to attend. When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, the appeal to end the Air India hijack drama on humanitarian grounds. And later in Focus, this device changed one man's life. Can it also help others?
There's my husband, Nolan Ryan, still throwing heat. Can you believe he's got arthritis? You see, Nolan's doctor says the best way to control arthritis pain is to keep moving. And to make it easier, he recommends Advil. Nothing's been proven stronger on arthritis pain, yet it's gentle on his stomach. In fact, I take Advil for my arthritis pain. That way, we can exercise together.
Advil, stronger than pain.
Planning a holiday party? Make it a very splashy event. Serve a seafood platter from Red Lobster. Shrimp, crab, or both. Either way, it's seafood worth celebrating. Order yours today.
How are more people sweeping in the new century?
Sweep the floor, above the door, the many blinds and so much more.
Swiffer has strong electrostatic action, and its cloths are strong too, with deep lift and lock pockets so nothing traps and holds more dirt, dust, and hair. And the dirt and dust stay in Swiffer cloths. No wonder people love Swiffer.
Swiffer here, Swiffer there, wherever you clean, even the TV screen.
Swiffer, the best way to sweep in the new century.
More than 60 hours have now passed since an Indian Airlines Airbus was hijacked near New Delhi with 189 passengers and crew. A request has been made that the UN Security Council get involved, but so far, no action and no progress toward resolving the standoff. Here's NBC's Kiko Itasaka.
Day 3, and the hijacked Indian Airlines plane remained on the runway in Kandahar, Afghanistan. A United Nations observer described the scene.
Soldiers, they were just surrounding the airplane, and they were not allowing anybody to go inside.
More than 150 are still held hostage. One diabetic passenger was released today as a goodwill gesture. 27 were freed yesterday, some of them injured. He says they were blindfolded and tied up, and the hijackers threatened to kill them all. A United Nations team flew into Kandahar today, insisting its role was humanitarian and denying it was negotiating with the hijackers.
You have to do something.
In New Delhi, exasperated relatives of the hostages met with India's foreign minister and demanded action. But the official repeated the government's position. It will not give in to the terrorist demands for the release of political prisoners and this Pakistani-born Muslim leader. The hijackers are believed to favor the independence of Kashmir, a cause for which Pakistan has often expressed support. But there is no support being offered for the hijacking.
The government of Pakistan wishes to make it clear at the outset that it has no sympathy with desperate individual acts.
The hijackers may have hoped for support from the Afghan ruling group, the Taliban.
And must have some links with people in Afghanistan, if not with the Taliban regime itself. Now, the Taliban regime are not keen to be counted amongst terrorist nations of the world.
And even Taliban officials say they want the refueled plane to leave. As the standoff continued, there were funeral rites today for the only person known to have been killed so far, a 25-year-old honeymooner. The hijackers have refused repeated requests to release his widow. Kiko Itasaka, NBC News.
In parts of Europe this weekend, brutal weather, freak windstorms which killed at least 48 people. Germany, Switzerland, and France were the hardest hit. The Paris airports and the Euro Disney theme park had to shut down for part of the day. At times, the wind reached 120 miles per hour, heavily damaging buildings and uprooting trees. More than half the fatalities were in northern France. In Switzerland, most of the victims were killed by falling trees, including 2 people at a ski resort who fell to their deaths when a falling tree cut the cable on their ski lift. When NBC Nightly News continues, a promising new treatment for depression.
Hey, what's that?
The new Rugrats edition Gateway Astro PC.
I'm glad I thought of it, Drew.
I thought of it.
It's internet ready.
Wow!
And comes with lots of stuff kids need in a PC.
Wow!
Plus 5 Rugrats and Nickelodeon software titles.
Wow!
It's $899 with an Intel Celeron processor.
Brilliance! Sheer brilliance.
Grown-ups, call 1-800-GATEWAY.
A significant discovery in eye health may be lutein, a nutrient found in these healthy foods, perhaps as vital to your eyes as the beta-carotene in carrots. And now, Centrum and Centrum Silver are the only leading multivitamins that have lutein. So whatever your age, you can help maintain your precious sight. Look into Centrum and Centrum Silver, now more complete with lutein. Also look for Centrum Herbals, the only herbals backed by Centrum Science.
Super Bowl Sunday. In a special multimedia event, the Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol will surprise someone with $21 million.
Oh, my God! I can't believe it! Oh, thank you so much!
It'll all happen live on TV and at PCH.com.
Yes!
Watch your mail or go to PCH.com. Enter, and on Super Bowl Sunday, the $21 million winner could be you.
There is a minute in each morning where a full day of being big and strong on the outside starts off first with being big and strong on the inside. That minute was made for Minute Maid. A taste as fresh and ripe as morning itself. Help keep your bones big and strong and squeeze the day. Now you can squeeze the day with the smooth, exotic taste of orange passion with calcium.
America's first family.
To you and yours, all the joys of the season.
From all of us in the Today Show family,
Happy Holidays!
In focus this evening, an experimental device doctors believe will allow them to help patients now thought to be beyond help. Here's NBC's Jim Cummins.
I want to explain to you lessons.
Tucker Davis is one of an estimated 1 million people in this country who suffers from severe, untreatable clinical depression. He remembers last year's Christmas season as a scary time because he'd tried every available medication. Nothing worked. He had lost all hope. Davis was desperate.
I can remember holidays and that and having suicidal thoughts and that type of deal, but I have not had any suicidal thoughts since I had this implant.
This implant, a small electrical generator about the size of a stopwatch that was surgically attached to Davis's rib cage during an operation last February. It's called a vagus nerve stimulator, VNS, because wires from the generator are passed under the skin, up to the neck, and wrapped around the vagus nerve, which sends signals to the brain to help regulate mood levels. The VNS is programmed by a computer to stimulate the vagus nerve for 30 seconds every 5 minutes. The only side effect? A slight voice change.
The stimulator's going off right now, so my voice will change for 30 seconds.
Because the stimulator is near the vocal cord. The VNS has been used to treat people with epilepsy since 1997. When scientists noticed it also puts patients in a better mood, they decided to try it on severely depressed people like Davis. The results for him are astonishing. His severe depression has vanished.
I'd never really experienced what it was like to be happy. So it was a whole new feeling for me.
Until you used the nerve stimulator?
Until I used the nerve stimulator, right.
Davis was part of a study here at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center that found the nerve stimulator substantially reduced the symptoms of depression in 40% of the people who used it. Dr. A. John Rush, who headed the study, describes their reaction to this new treatment.
It's really rather profound. So it's not just my symptoms are a little better. These were very, very ill people, very treatment resistant, and a number will say things to you like, gee, my nephew told me, this is a quote from one of the ladies, my aunt is back, my mom is back.
And Tucker Davis is back.
To this day, I've not had any relapse or any symptoms. I have occasional blue moods like we all do, you know, down on something and that, but they quickly go away.
So now the Food and Drug Administration has approved another test of the nerve stimulator at 15 medical centers nationwide. It could be at least a year before this treatment is widely available, but it does offer hope for the 1 million people who suffer from untreatable depression.
I'm back doing all the things I had done before that I had given up on.
Jim Cummins, NBC News, Dallas.
When we continue, we'll hear from some high-flying repairmen who just finished a job 375 miles up.
My driving test kind of got off to a bad start.
On calls like this, you want to talk a while. That's why it's always a good idea to dial 10-10-321.
Well, I thought I was in first.
With 10-10-321, you save 50% on calls over 10 minutes. But that's just 8 cents a minute, day or night.
I was supposed to turn on the blinker.
And no monthly fees. And that 50% off, you can go on and on and on.
So finally, I pull out of the parking space.
Talk as long as you want with 10-10-321.
Every year we surprise someone with $10 million. But not this year.
Publishers Clearinghouse kicks off the 21st century with $21 million. Live on TV Super Bowl Sunday. Watch your mail or go to PCH.com and enter.
No, this isn't a jeans commercial. It's about constipation. You're bloated, not yourself. Your size 10s feel like 2s.
Fibercon has natural fiber action to relieve bloating constipation.
I'm myself again.
Fibercon, be regular, be yourself.
20 years now. Where'd they go?
Need help with those?
I can do it.
20 years.
I don't know.
I mean, you just caught an etch. It happens.
I sit and I wonder sometimes.
Year after year, it's good to have someone you can depend on. Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
This week, a special series, The Truth About Y2K. You've heard the rumors. What about your money, travel, national security? A family survival guide. NBC Nightly News this week.
Sports Sunday with Colin Coward. Tonight at 11:35.
It's okay. It's not a live animal. It's not the shoes that you wanted.
The Lexus December to Remember sales event.
Honey, you gotta see this.
Okay.
You'll find values you never believed possible.
You like it?
10.
Whoa. The December to Remember sales event ends January 3rd. Missing it would definitely spoil the surprise. See Lexus of Portland.
After what NASA believes was a fantastic voyage, the shuttle Discovery astronauts are now preparing to come home. Here's NBC's Rick Davis.
It was a century with a lot of themes, the triumph of freedom, the triumph of individual liberties, but the biggest theme was the awesome advance.
The Hubble telescope is back in orbit, adding to its miles circling the Earth over the last 10 years. 1.5 billion miles and more to come, now that it was put back in orbit with the crew of Discovery after completing repairs. During the night, the Discovery circled the Earth every 96 minutes. Its cameras sending back these images, passing from the light to the dark side of Earth, capturing the lightning storms on the surface, as seen from 375 miles up. And over the structure of Discovery, the camera had this image of the sun. The Hubble telescope was 23 miles away, another dot of reflected light in the universe. According to the Discovery astronauts, it is a healthy dot since its repair and release. Mission specialist John Grunsfeld.
For me, it's really surprising. A telescope that's been up here for 10 years with only 3 servicing missions, it's really in pretty great shape. And right at the end of the mission, as we were putting all the tools away, I had a couple of seconds just to look up and sort of survey the telescope up close and personal. And Hubble's doing really well.
And what do the astronauts expect in space in the next millennium? Mission specialist Michael Foale.
I think we will build outposts on the moon and Mars. I think by the end of the millennium, I'm sure we'll be on planets around other stars.
And they will follow a space map drawn from these photo images made by the Hubble telescope. Rick Davis, NBC News.
A scientist, not a world leader or an inventor, was named today by Time magazine as the person of the century. It is Albert Einstein, the absent-minded professor whose theories laid the groundwork for 20th century technologies, from space travel to television to atomic power. The man who made the final decision spoke about it today on NBC's Meet the Press.
It was a century with a lot of themes, the triumph of freedom, the triumph of individual liberties, but the biggest theme was the awesome advances in science and the technology that came from that. And there's one person who was the great genius in unlocking the mysteries of the atom and the universe and leading to all this technology, Albert Einstein.
The runners-up for the person of the century, President Franklin Roosevelt, who in the 30s and 40s represented the triumph of democracy and freedom. Finishing third, India's Mahatma Gandhi, who now symbolizes how one nonviolent person can be a force for change. When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, the bull market on Wall Street. How long do insiders think it will last?
Nobody in America sells more office products to more businesses than Office Depot.
You can shop our store. Or you can shop our catalog.
You can shop online.
Taking care of business. It's all mine. Taking care of business and working overtime. Work out.
Office Depot. Taking care of business.
Could nasty kitchen germs make you sick? Call in the specialist. Lysol antibacterial kitchen cleaner not only cleans, but is specially made to kill germs, even ones you don't know about yet. Is your cleaner a specialist? Lysol antibacterial kitchen cleaner is the only one you need. You have our word on it.
It's that time of year when everyone's going to be peeking into your oven. So get Easy Off. Easy Off makes oven cleaning easier.
Oh, I should have used Preparation H. Cool it fast with Preparation H Cooling Gel. Cools on contact for fast relief. Preparation H Cooling Gel cools on contact.
Sooner or later, you're going to quit smoking. So consider this. A quit date this good won't come along for another 1,000 years. Don't waste it. Quit with Nicoderm CQ. CQ's got the 3 gradual steps, and hundreds of thousands of smokers have already quit with it. Wasn't 1 millennium smoking enough? Start the next one with Nicoderm CQ. The power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to help you quit.
Sunday, January 9th, the new game show comes to NBC, and someone could win the biggest cash giveaway in television history. And for the first time, your chance to watch and win at home. Inside this isolation chamber, questions will be answered, history will be made, millions will be at stake. 21 premieres Sunday, January 9th at 8, 7 Central on NBC.
Start the millennium with NBC News. Their vision changed our world. Now look inside their worlds. 20th Century Pioneers on Headliners and Legends with Matt Lauer. Every night this week on MSNBC.
Finally this evening, the final week of the year that was. The roaring stock market has generated more than $2 trillion in profits this year alone and has helped create 8 million new millionaires. Both the Dow Jones Industrials and the NASDAQ, which services mostly tech stocks, will reopen tomorrow at record high levels. But to some, these Wall Street glory days bring thoughts of the boom 70 years ago, which went bust. We asked 2 market watchers to compare today with 1929. Brian Westbury is the chief economist at Griffin, Kubik, Stevens, and Thompson, a Chicago-based investment bank. And Joe Battipaglia is the chief investment strategist for Gruntle & Company, an investment services firm in New York.
There are a number of similarities between today and 1929. The stock market was on a tear in the late 1920s. It is today. The economy was growing very rapidly along with productivity. That is also happening today. In the late 1920s, however, we had deflation in many prices.
If we look at the 90s, it's all about growth, expansion, positive developments, lower interest rates, the elimination of inflation, the end of the Cold War. When we look at the 1920s, what do we see? We see a fading U.S. economy that was agriculturally driven. We have tightening interest rates and, more importantly, a tightening of trade relationships around the world, and basically a contraction in business conditions. That led to falling confidence. It ended up being a tremendous crash on Wall Street in '29, which led to the Great Depression.
In the late 1920s, the biggest mistake that was made was that the Federal Reserve raised interest rates in order to stop stock prices from rising because they thought the market was in a bubble. They eventually raised interest rates so far that they caused the collapse in the market. And I get worried about today the fact that the Federal Reserve is out fighting prosperity, fighting the rise in stock prices, fighting low unemployment, fighting rising wages. According to the Fed, rapid growth in our economy is bad, and they have the power to stop that. If they continue to